Good day everyone, I'm Annabelle BT and I'm going to discuss the Philippine laws for PWDs. So, why we have laws for PWDs? PWDs or disabled person have the same rights as other people to take their proper place in society. Legal basis. Legal basis means the lawful grounds to collect and process personal data as prescribed in the Personal Data Protection Laws. So the first Philippine laws for PWDs is Batas Pambansa 344, 1983 Accessibility Law, an act to enhance the mobility of disabled persons by requiring certain buildings, institutions, establishments, and public utilities to install facilities and other devices. This law means that disabled persons have rights to participate fully in the social life and the development of the societies in which they live and the enjoyment of the opportunities available to other citizens. So in case of public conveyance, devices such as the prominent display of posters or stickers shall be used to generate public awareness of the rights of the disabled and foster understanding of their special needs. Special bus stops shall be designed for disabled persons. Discriminating against disabled persons in the carriage or transportation of passengers is hereby declared unlawful. The second laws for PWDs. Republic Act 7277, 1992, Magna Carta for Disabled Persons, an act providing for the rehabilitation, self-development, and self-reliance of disabled persons and their integration into the mainstream of society and for other purposes. Republic Act Number 7277 or the Magna Carta for Disabled Person is known as one of the laws whose purpose is to protect people with disabilities. This law states the rights and privilege that people with disabilities should receive. Disabled persons are part of the Philippine society. Thus, Senate shall give full support to the improvement of the total well-being of disabled persons and their integration into the mainstream of society. Disabled persons have the same rights as other people to take their proper place in society. They should be able to live freely and as independently as possible. This must be concern of everyone, the family, community, and all government and non-government organizations. The rehabilitation of the disabled persons shall be the concern of the government in order to foster their capability to attain a more meaningful, productive, and satisfying life. The third law for PWDs is Republic Act 9442, 2007. These rules shall be known and cited as the rules and regulations implementing Republic Act number 9442, an act amending Republic Act number 7277, otherwise known as the Magna Carta for Disabled Persons, and for other purposes granting additional privileges and incentives and prohibitions on verbal, non-verbal ridicule and vilification against persons with disability. These rules are promulgated to prescribe the procedures and guidelines for the implementation of Republic Act 9442 in order to facilitate compliance therewith and to achieve the objectives thereof. Republic Act 9442 provide persons with disability the opportunity to participate fully into the mainstream of society by granting them at least 20% discount in all basic services. Next law for PWDs is NCDA Administrative Order Number 001 Series 2008, an act providing for lifetime validity of person with disability identification cards for those with permanent disability or elderly, amending for the purpose Republic Act Number 7277, otherwise known as the Magna Carta for Persons with Disability as amended. This law is for people with disabilities to have identification card so they can get discounts wherever they travel. Under National Council on Disability Affairs or NCDA, Administrative Order Number 001 Series of 2008, a person with disability identification card which serves as the standard national identification card for PWDs shall be the basis for the entitlement of the privileges provided under the Magna Carta for persons with disability as amended. Such privileges include discounts and VAT exemption for transportation fare, medicines, and medical services. So next law for PWDs is Republic Act 10070-2010, establishing institutional mechanism to ensure the implementation of programs and services for persons with disabilities in every province, city, and municipality, amending Republic Act Number 7277, otherwise known as the Magna Carta for Disabled Persons as amended, and for other purposes. Republic Act 10070 is to ensure that policies, programs, and services for persons with disabilities are implemented at local level for them to fully participate in building an inclusive society for all. Local government units shall promote the establishment of organizations of persons with disabilities in their respective territorial jurisdictions. National agencies and local government units may enter into joint ventures with organizations or associations of PWDs to explore livelihood opportunities and other undertakings that shall enhance the health, physical fitness, and the economic and social well-being of PWDs. So that's end of my report. So for the other laws for PWDs will be tackled by Christine Angel Digamo.
Good day everyone. I am Christine Angel Digamo and I am going to continue to discuss the 5 other legal bases. So, the first legal basis that I am going to discuss is the Republic Act 10366 mandates the COMELEC to set up polling precincts inclusively for PWDs and senior citizens that are located on the ground level, preferably near the entrance and without physical barriers. This is to make sure that every registered voter has an equal chance of getting to the polling precinct and filling out and submitting the ballots. So the law also provides for sensitivity training programs for people who perform electoral duties, including field officers, members of the Board of Election Inspectors, and accredited citizen arms to familiarize themselves with the needs of PWDs and senior citizens. According to the National Council on Disability Affairs or NCDA, many PWD voters had been disenfranchised during the 2016 presidential elections because polling places lack ramps or access as well as volunteers to assess them. So also in 2016, media organizations reported various incidents of senior citizens struggling to climb stairs to reach their polling precincts. Some of them even suffered accidents. Similar incidents were reported during the barangay elections last year. Next legal basis is the Proclamation number 688, Section 2013. So President Benigno is Aquino III, through Proclamation number 688, declared the period of 2013 to 2022 as the Philippine Decade of Make the Right Real for persons with disability, in support of the Third Asian and Pacific Decade of Persons with Disabilities. Individual with disability who, with reasonable accommodation, can perform the essential function of employment position that such individual holds or desires. So for accreditation purposes, PWDs with non-obvious disabilities such as psychosocial, learning, mental or intellectual, visual and hearing disabilities should secure a certification from the Department of Health through its regional hospitals, medical centers, and specialty hospitals attesting to the individual's impairment. So as provided in the law, equal employment opportunity shall be given to PWDs in the selection process based on qualification standards for an appointment to a position in government and requirements set by employers in private corporations. These shall also be subject to the same terms and conditions of employment, compensation, privileges, benefits, incentives, or allowances as an able-bodied person. So let's proceed. Let's talk about the Republic Act number 10524. So it is an act expanding the positions reserved for PWDs, amending for the purpose of Republic Act number 7277 or Magna Carta for persons with disability. So this act has 5 sections. So the first section is equal opportunity for employment. So equal opportunity for employment talks about no person with disability shall be denied access to opportunities for suitable employment. A qualified employee with disability shall be subject to the same terms and conditions of employment and the same compensation, privileges, benefits, fringe benefits, incentives, or allowances as a qualified able-bodied person. In Section 2, talks about the implementing rules and regulations. So the Department of Labor and Employment, or the DOLE, the Civil Service with Commission, CEC, the National Council on Disability Affairs, in CDE, the Governance Commission for Government-Owned or Controlled Corporations, GCG, the Department of Health, DOH, the Department of Social Welfare and Development, DSWD, and the Bureau of Internal Revenue, or BIR, in consultation with the concerned Senate and House committees and other agencies, organizations, and establishments, shall formulate and implementing rules and regulations pertinent to the provisions of this Act within 6 months after the effectivity of this Act. So the Section 3, separability clause. So should any provision of this Act be found unconstitutional by a court of law, such provision shall be severed from the remainder of this Act, and such action shall not affect the enforceability of the remaining provisions of this Act. Next is the Section 4, repealing clause. So all laws, presidential decrees, executive orders and rights, and regulations inconsistent with the provisions of this Act are hereby repealed or modified accordingly. So last, the Section 5 talks about clause. So this Act shall take effect 15 days after its publication in any 2 newspapers of general circulation. And now, let's talk about in another legal basis, which is the Republic Act number 10754. So it aims to grant persons with disability at least 20% discount and exemption from the value-added tax on the sale of certain goods and services identified under Public Act number 9442 for the exclusive use, enjoyment, and availment of person with disability. So in this Republic Act, the person with disability can buy goods with less price. They can also have a less money to pay in different services like in the hospitals, food court, dress shop, or anywhere that purchase this Republic Act number 10754. So last but not the least, let's talk about the Republic Act number 11228. It is an act providing for the mandatory health coverage for all persons with disability. So, the Republic Act 11228 is consistent with Republic Act number 11223, or otherwise known as the Universal Health Care Act, which specifies under Chapter 2, Section 5 on population coverage, provides that every Filipino citizen shall be automatically included into the National Health Insurance Program, hereinafter referred to as the program. And Chapter 3, Section 9 on entitlement to benefits that every member shall be granted immediate eligibility for health benefit package under the program. So the new law specifies that all persons with disability are automatically covered by PhilHealth and instructs the state health insurance agency to develop packages tailor fit for their health and development needs. So the law further directs the DOH in coordination with other relevant government agencies and non-government organizations to periodically monitor and evaluate the implementation of this law and to maintain an updated database of all persons with disability in the country. So according to Secretary Duque, he emphasized that this law gives an advantage to a segment of the marginalized population, resonates with our intention that no one should be left behind, and underscores the need for higher taxes on tobacco and alcohol to fund healthcare.